So basically, the CIA kind of proved that God exists.
The CIA did?
Yep, gods are a concept of belief. The more belief, the stronger the god.
This guy tries to debunk the Bible by saying that the CIA proved God exists, but also he's a new age type thing, so I don't know exactly what's going on with him. So make sure to watch to the end because I have a Bible verse that will tie all of this together. Let's get right into it. Shout out to Cliff and give me an answer.
Because yes, he is the son of God in that sense, but I feel like son is being used very liberally in that concept.
Good.
He's more of an extension of God in my mind. So within the concept of the crucifixion or whatever, I would argue that it had to have happened for any, like, the salvation to ever occur.
Good.
And it was sort of a means, a sacrifice of oneself to oneself in order to save those beneath oneself.
Good. Very hard concept, though, what you just said. You said, I think you said it very accurately. But what you just said, sir, is pretty deep. And it's pretty much of a mystery also, to some extent. But I think you said it rather well. Now, let me ask you, do you believe in this Jesus?
I believe in a form of Jesus, yes, but not within the accepting Christian faith.
Okay. What is the form of Jesus that you believe in?
Well, that's a very multifaceted question because I have two competing theories within myself that make the most sense to me.
Yeah.
One of which is really just the concept of Jesus, and we all know there's records of his existence, obviously.
Yes.
Where he was, in a sense, somewhat of an extension of Yahweh, Jehovah, whatever you want to refer to him as. A newer god trying to sort of catch up to more established gods who have had pantheons for thousands of years in a sense of power, gravitas, belief, and whatnot. And that's really why the Christian faith skyrocketed after Jesus' death. It took 300 years, yes. However, that's a microsecond in a God's frame of reference. Are you familiar with the Gateway Experience and various other MK Ultra sort of?
No.
So basically, the CIA kind of proved that God exists.
The CIA did?
Yep, through the Gateway Experience, which was sleep therapy and stuff to introduce, get into a somewhat of a trance state, if you will. A very deep sense of meditation.
Yeah.
Sort of what Eastern philosophy has discussed for thousands of years within like the concept of Buddhism.
Yeah.
But basically, they discovered within this state and within a bunch of other tests of that nature, that sort of, I guess the best way to put it is your consciousness has a sort of footprint above oneself, sort of, dimension-wise.
Right.
That's what makes gods. Gods are a concept of belief. The more belief, the stronger the god. Every single god that exists exists because of the faith of those who come.
You bet. Okay, I hear you. I'm going to answer you, and then Stuart's going to take it. I am really offended when I go into a lot of churches in America, and I see a picture of Jesus on the wall. What's the color of his hair usually? Brown or light dark blonde, right?
I mean,
what's the color of his eyes usually? Often blue, maybe brown.
Like mine.
What's the color of his skin? Pretty white, pretty like mine. And I begin to wonder, who are we worshiping here? I go into other churches, and I see a picture of Jesus on the wall, and there's an American flag right beside it. Okay? I'm a proud American. I'm grateful for all the good that this country has done. I'm embarrassed by the evil that it's done at times. But I get a little concerned, because I see Jesus and the American flag really tightly woven together. And then we got the other picture of Jesus. You know what that picture is? He's 6'1" white American male who happens to like basketball. Oh my goodness. I happen to be a 6'1" white American male, and I really like basketball. What am I doing? I am creating God in my own image. Now watch this. Hi, I'm Cliff. What's your name?
I'm Jonah. Nice to meet you.
Theodore. Good to meet you.
No, Jonah.
Harry?
No, Bob. Stuart, Kevin.
Okay, but stick with your name. What's your name?
Jonah.
Jonah. Okay, now why was I being rude to Jonah? Because I was an arrogant twit to the point of saying, I know your name better than you do, Jonah. And I'm going to create this guy according to my prejudices, which is Harry or Theodore. No, he's not Harry. No, he's not Theodore. Who is he? He's Jonah. And in order for me to have a relationship with Jonah, I'm going to have to accept who Jonah reveals himself to be. The same thing is true of God. If I create God in my own image as a 6'1" white American male who likes basketball and has the American flag wrapped around him, I am a deceiver. I have to have the humility to allow Jonah to be Jonah And I got to have the humility to allow God to be God. And Jesus Christ claimed to be God, speaking language that I, with my rational mind, can begin to understand. And this Jesus died, was buried in the tomb of Joseph of Arimathea, and 3 days later, he rose from the dead. The overwhelming evidence is Jesus Christ is reliable in a way that Jonah and Cliff are not reliable. And that is why if Jonah puts his faith ultimately in Jonah, and if Cliff puts his faith ultimately in Cliff, we are making one humongous mistake. But if Jonah and Cliff put our faith in Jesus Christ, based on the evidence that Christ is reliable in a way that Jonah and Cliff together are not, that's a very wise decision to trust in Christ. Does that make any sense?
Yes, sir.
Good.
All right,
Now
would
let's
you entertain me for a second?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Would you look at your watch and tell me what time it is?
Yes, sir. It is 2:12, but I think it's 2:11 because I'm a minute ahead.
What does that time mean? In the overall scale of cosmological sense, what does that time mean?
It means that time has a beginning, so there is a past, a present, and a future, and it means that I am locked into time.
No. I think you're misinterpreting what I mean. What is 2:12 p.m.? It is a measurement of time. It is an explanation of time.
Yes.
It's in a framework that we can understand. Without a clock, you can't really explain time as anything other than things move and they change position whenever you look at them at different points.
All right, the way I would express it is there's a beginning and there's an end. And that's why we talk about time. There's a beginning of my day, there's an end of my day. There's a beginning of my life in 1954, May 20th, and there will be an end of my life.
Time does not care about that. That is merely your perception. That's merely the time, the section of time that has been allotted for your perception, within a sense. With the concept of gods, with the concept of really religion in general, it's just a human way of explaining what that overall concept is. It's a human way of explaining what that higher power is because it is so indecipherable to us. Within that concept, every single religion is simply looking at that energy, that sort of overall thing, within a different lens. It's really just the blind man. It's a bunch of men in a dark room touching an elephant and all talking about a different part.
You bet. Okay, now here's why I can't agree with you. Because the illustration I gave you. This is a man with a personality, and he's got a name, and his name is not Theodore, and his name is not Harry. His name is Jonah. And guess what? He has likes and he's got dislikes. He has his own unique character. And if I deny that, if I just create this guy according to my desires, according to my prejudices, if I just mold him into whatever I want him to be, that is so manipulative. It's so dishonest. It's such an abuse of power.
But that's what religion is.
No, it's not.
To define and mold within your perception what someone is.
I did not create Jesus. I did not create Jesus. Jesus was born 2,000 years before I was even born. I am confronted by Jesus, making some incredible truth claims. And he's either lying through his teeth, he's either a liar, or else he is the truth. The same way, this is either Jonah, or he's lying to me.
That's a duality. You're basically trying to put a non-binary system within binary constraints, and that is the chief failure of any sort of absolutist take on religion, where you accept your own as true and others as false. You are essentially saying that you're essentially saying that seconds are not true and minutes are the truth. We have minutes. All hail the minute. That is our measurement of time. Seconds are lies by the bastards. They are wrong. They are a failure of perception. That is what you are arguing, essentially.
No, it is not. This is what I'm arguing. I respect you. That is why I'm listening to you. That is why I'm trying to answer you as intelligently as I am capable of, which is not very intelligent. I know I got a very low IQ compared to many of you, but I respect you. What does that mean? It means I think you're real. It means I think you're true. And you're expressing what you honestly think. And I respect that. And that is why I listen and I respond to you. And I just don't say, oh, so you're claiming to be a follower of Jesus. Because language doesn't mean anything. We just create meaning of language. That's baloney. You and I know English is a language. Logic is something we can use. That's why we can have an intelligent conversation. And if I dismiss you with, oh, what you said was you're a believer in Jesus, I'm a stinking liar. That's not what you said. Do you understand? Reality. Truth. Jonah is real. You are real. I am real. And guess what? Jesus Christ is real. Real historical figure. Now, he made some audacious claims. Now, we got to figure out, was he lying or was he speaking the truth?
Well, that's really where your issue lies in, is that whenever you observe something, anything,
yes,
you change its fundamental nature. Observation alters anything. That's why light behaves the way it does. Looking at something changes it. The position
Looking
of
at
an electron
what does that
can be
mean?
recorded.
If I look at the tree, how does that change the tree?
Because when you're not looking at it, it could be anything else. You don't
No!
know.
That's where we disagree. This is Jonah. I don't care if I call him Teddy, Harry, Philip. No, I'm wrong. I am wrong. This is not Teddy, Philip, Harry. This is Jonah. And if I say Jesus was a nice teacher, and that's all, I'm wrong. He claimed to be God in human form. He's either a liar, not a very good teacher, a manipulator, saying, oh, by the way, if you don't believe in me, you're going to go to hell. That's not a good teacher. It's a pretty manipulative guy. Unless he's speaking the truth. And if he's speaking the truth, you better investigate him and figure out, is he reliable or is he not? And that tree, sir, exists even if I deny it. Guess what? That tree's not there. That tree's not there. That's a lie. The tree is there.
Now that I'm facing you with my eye closed,
yes?
I cannot see the tree. Therefore, that tree within my perception and my reference frame does not exist.
And that's called ignorance on your part.
That is not ignorance.
Yes, it is. The tree is really there.
Ignorance.
You've already seen the tree.
Yes.
You've already seen the tree, so you know the tree is there.
When I look at it again, yes, it is there.
Right.
However, anytime I'm not directly observing it, I have no way of proving that exists. Prove to me right now that your hand exists.
I cannot.
Exactly.
I cannot prove anything.
That is fundamentally the impediment, like the sort of...
No, wait a second. Just because I can't prove him does not mean he does not exist. And guess what? I can know George. Because although I can't prove 100% that he's here, there's enough evidence of my eyesight, there's enough evidence of talking with him yesterday that I'm convinced he's a real guy. And guess what? What makes life go round and round is developing a relationship with George, with Jonah, with Margot, with my brother from Nigeria, from loving people and trusting that they're real people. They're not just apparitions that I have when I happen to be looking at them. Isn't that right?
That's consciousness trying to explain itself. It's really what you're getting at.
Okay, good.
I got a bus to catch, but I will leave you with this.
Yep.
Fundamentally, every single cell, all of life exists to proliferate further. That is the main prime directive of life. Everything subsequent to that is all just evolutionary traits, all just things that have been evolved. Consciousness was evolved because it gave us an advantage, because it allowed us to have luck, it allowed us to have faith, it allowed us to make things stronger than ourselves by multitudes. It allowed us to create gods. The reason that consciousness exists is because with consciousness, you can make things so much stronger, so much more permeable, so much more powerful and intangible and undestroyable than yourself, that with it, you completely change the ballgame evolutionary. That's what consciousness represents. It is the nuclear bomb. It is the atomic bomb of the evolutionary arms race.
Okay, good. And Jesus agrees with you. Consciousness is crucial. But Jesus says that there's more to life than just being conscious. I am responsible to love God and to love Jonah. Relationship.
Wow, what a time. And I think this is something that we all have to deal with. A lot of times we want to put God in our own image. Just like he's saying, we want to put God and to conform him to what we want to do with our life. Like the problem is we put God, whatever we want God to be, that's what he is. That's just not true. He is one way, whether we like him that way or not. That's what he's getting at. You can't just deny something. What he was talking about with the tree is there whether you like it or not. It's not just some form of your imagination. This is also a dangerous thing because we want something that we can touch and taste and feel to believe in. And he's saying that religion is just based off of whatever you want it to be. It changes from your own perception. And that's just not true. There is one way, one truth, and one life. So now I have a Bible verse that will tie all of this together. Ezekiel 20:24 says, because they did not obey my regulations, they scorned my decrees by violating my Sabbath days and longing for idols of their ancestors. I gave them over to worthless decrees and regulations that would not lead to life. I let them pollute themselves with the very gifts I had given them, and I allowed them to give their firstborn child as offerings to their gods, so I might devastate them and remind them that I alone am the Lord. So go to God today. Know that he loves you. He's longing to have a relationship with you. Put him first above all else and know that he is the one true God. No one can go to the Father except through Jesus. That is reality. That is fact. Do that today. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please like this video and subscribe. I would love for you to come alongside my channel. That would be great. Anyway, have an amazing day. Peace.